He gets the picture with Scott Housen. You can see
Did you see me finger those dudes?
Phil, have you seen the post of your celebration?
Yeah. I'm gonna frame it.
One day later.
Oh! This one's for you! Oh, you are! Woo!
All right, guys, as I mentioned, this man is a legend now in the Abbotsford Canucks culture. Abbotsford Canucks superfan, the title I gave him, Scott Spitters. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Hey, how's it going?
I think we kind of gave away the first question here. As we ask the same set of questions for all of our new guests here on Nothing is Perfect. What is your favorite hockey team?
You know, I've got to say it's got to be Abbotsford. I'm a longtime season ticket member, but I grew up watching the Canucks from a young age. My grandmother was a hockey fan, and she passed that down to us. And it's been Vancouver ever since. And when Abbotsford was announced, it was probably like a dream come true. Hockey in town.
There's not a lot of good decisions that the Vancouver Canucks as an organization make, but I feel like this is probably one of the best that they've made, bringing their farm team right to their own backyard.
Yeah, absolutely. Long overdue. I couldn't really get into the Heat when they were in town. Mostly just hung around and watched, whatever affiliate the Canucks were with at the time. I think I went to a bunch of Chicago Wolf games, and they had a nice little deal that you could buy, all the tickets to the Wolves games, and that was the ticket pack that sold the most.
I was there when it was the Manitoba Moose. I went into a bunch of really fun Manitoba Moose games because the stadium would be full for the first time that year when the Canucks affiliate rolled through. Do you have a favorite hockey player from over the years?
If we go back and we look at sort of, all my time, watching hockey, Naslund really stands out for me. I've got lots of, good memories as him as a Canuck. I think my grandma's favorite hockey player probably was, she probably loved Trevor Linden a lot. I got lots of old swag, lots of old jerseys. Todd Bertuzzi, loved him. And then, coming back to Abbotsford and being able to watch these guys like, pretty much every day of the week, which has been great. Vincent Arsenault was just an all-time great with Abbotsford. We loved watching him. Alex Kanek-Liepert, just the really rough guys, the tough guys. Having Sammy Blais here for, a season was just a blessing. And, sad to see him go, but, those are just some of the guys that I love for this team.
Yeah, my chat made the joke that he went out in a blaze of glory.
He did.
Yep. So there's always a little bit of cheese in chat on Nothing is Perfect. Do you have a favorite moment as a hockey fan?
There's like two eras of sort of my hockey fandom, at least, is, watching Burrows just slay the dragon was just an all-time high. All of those sort of game-winning deciding factors in that run for the cup, the stanchion goal, things like that. The Western Conference Finals this last month ago was I've never been happier, and then being able to win the Calder Cup from for Abbotsford was just like an absolute high.
So that means you got to attend all the Calder Cup final games then as a season ticket holder then.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we purchased every ticket we could, for sure.
Yeah. And then what was that like? Because I know for the Calder Cup finals, they were doing standing room only. They had extra people jammed in there. Did it add to the atmosphere?
Yeah, it was good. So I'm right below the standing room only. So it was kind of like just a mess to get out of this section and, grab a beer or grab something to eat. It was a maze of people, and it was awesome to have them all there. We would have loved to see some more support in the early rounds, but I get it. You don't want to, um, get too excited about something and then have it ripped away from you. So lots of caution there.
Yeah, I mean, tough to get out for some of the fans from out of town and stuff like that. People coming in from Langley and stuff like that can be tough to get out down the highway in the midst of all the chaotic rush through traffic to get home from work and then try and make it on time for the game can be tough too for like a Tuesday night game. Did you play hockey at all growing up, like any level?
No.
Street
so
hockey?
funny enough, No, well, so I mean, I played a little bit of street hockey, but funny enough, I was a figure skater
Oh, cool.
for a lot of my childhood.
So you got the
And,
edge
you know,
work.
I wrestled with myself, wanting to reveal that fact,
Yeah.
but, I was brought up almost to, like, hate hockey and
Hmm.
hate hockey players because those kids ruined the ice, they were just so rough with it, and they didn't have, any care for it, and they're just mean people, but, I got out of figure skating, and I found a love for hockey, and it's just been, like, the greatest sport to watch, the greatest, event on ice.
So what I guess normally I ask what's your favorite moment as a hockey player, but what's your favorite moment as a figure skater then? Did you go into any kind of competitions, anything like that?
I did a little bit of competing, like, I think I was only a skater probably for 5 or 6 years, like, kinda got out when I was, like, 11 or 12, but, it was a lot of fun. We won some awards, we won some competitions, did pretty good as a team. Did synchronized and did some solo stuff, but, there wasn't a lot of competition, there wasn't a lot of guys doing it back then.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. I mean, not the same, but similar situation for me. Back in the day when Abbotsford had an Earls, I got a job there as a server, and I think I was the first male server ever to be hired at Earls, which was back in the day.
I miss Earls, it's a bank now.
Yeah, it's
That
a
was the
bank
best place
now.
to get a bite for sure.
Classic Abbotsford turning it into a bank. So one of the big reasons I want to bring on tonight, because I have been following your progress through social media and various other websites you can get your Canucks content on, and I wanted to ask you a couple questions about what we all witnessed as you went through the Calder Cup run. So first off, what was the first reaction you had when you saw either the video or the clip of Phil Giuseppe flipping off the crowd in Charlotte as the cup was being handed over to Chase Wouters? Waters.
I filmed it. I was watching the game, I was recording myself, I filmed it.
Yeah.
It was just, just utter surprise, and then just hilarity. It was the funniest thing I'd probably seen in that year, just in hockey in general. It was just so, perfect for, like, just to cap off the series, and just, like, the best memory as a Canuck is now just Phil Giuseppe giving the double birds to the crowd, and they deserved it.
Yeah.
They were chirping Chase, and you don't do that, and he's a leader in the group, and as an assistant, he's gotta defend his captain, and he did exactly what any one of us would have done.
So you see it for the first time, and then what inspired you to bring it to the stadium? Because they arrived back from Charlotte the next day, and they did a little tour through the stadium to come by, and they had a space for you fans to show up, and you brought the picture with you. What inspired you to bring that picture to them?
So, a couple days before, when they get back from Charlotte, I was at the AC, out back waiting for the bus to come with probably about, like, another 100 people.
Hmm.
And, bus rolls up, Klim comes out with the cup, that was awesome, and then, the players started slowly sort of coming out, and a lot of the guys were spending a lot of time just kinda going down the line, signing autographs, and then we get to Phil comes out, and we're asking him like, "Hey, man, like, you've seen the picture, right? Like, he's like, "What picture?" And we're like, like, "You're giving the birds." He's like, "Oh, yeah." He's like, "I need to get that framed." And, it's something along the lines of like, yeah, he's like, "Could you get it to me?" And I'm like, I guess, like, I don't know how he's got no social media, I'm pretty sure, like, no Instagram, no Twitter.
Right.
Like, how do I get this man the picture, right? Um, so I'm sitting at work probably Thursday, the day of the celebration, and I
Hmm.
just had a brainwave, and I'm like, "I need to get this thing printed out, and I need to give it to him, and then, like, also, like, get a couple copies for myself." So my wife, being the amazing person she is, I sent her the pictures. She went to Staples and stuff and got it all printed out, went and bought the frame, got it framed up, and 4 o'clock rolls around. She picks me up, and we head out to the center, and because we're like, okay, if the players are arriving at 5, like, we got to get there for, like, as close to 5 as we can. So picks me up, and we probably arrive at like 4:15, 4:20, and that place is packed.
Yeah.
Like, standing, like, you can't, like, I don't even have, like, space to get to the front of the line. And so I'm just sort of, I kind of got as close as I could get on one of the sides there. And, not to, like, toot my own horn, but I'm sort of, been come to known like kind of around the community, and I found some people that knew who I was, and it was they let me sort of get as close as I could, and the bus arrives. Phil's like one of the first guys off the bus, and he goes to the other side
Oh no.
of he goes to the other side of the um, of where everybody's at, and I'm just screaming. I'm like, "Phil, like, nothing, nothing." And like I'm asking, Sass, I'm asking Chase, I'm asking all the guys. I'm like, "Guys, can you guys go get Phil? Like, I've got something for him." And oh yeah, we'll get him, we'll get him. And then of course everyone just kind of goes in, and who cares about what that crazy guy outside was saying, right? So I'm like, "Oh, this is the worst." And we go inside, and I've got floor seats. Season ticket members were able to get floor seats, which was great. I go down there, we're kind of we get wristbands and stuff, and I'm talking to my membership guy, and I was like, "Hey man, like what's like, are they coming down the aisles? Like, how can I get this to Phil?" And he's like, "Yeah, they're gonna come down these aisles." And I kind of asked around and figured out kind of where like they were gonna alternate, and
Mhm.
they were coming out of a certain side. So it was just sort of like a 50-50 shot of being in the right aisle to get Phil to come down. And I just kind of chose the closest one, and then just really, really hoped. And then I'm just we were watching, and his name gets announced, and I'm looking down the aisle, and I just thank my lucky stars. He's starting to come down, and I'm like, is he gonna stop and sign stuff? Like they're doing their WWE entrances. They're just totally like over the moon. Like, are these guys gonna stop and sign stuff? And I'm just kind of like watching, and I guess I see him signing other people's stuff, so I'm like perfect. I grabbed the stuff. I've got like the picture on top to get it signed. And then I got his underneath, and the moment happened, I kind of just stood in front of him, and I just started. I'm like, Phil, I got something for you, and he just signs it, right? He's probably like a couple beers deep, right? He's
Yeah.
just signing stuff, and he tries to go away. I'm like, wait. I'm like, and I gave it to him, and just like you see that moment in the video where he just like looks at it, and then he smiles, and then I'm like, I couldn't expect what happened next. Big hug, and that was a decently long hug for like a hockey player and a fan.
Yeah.
So like it meant something to him, and he's like, "I've got something for you." And I'm like, "What could this man possibly have on him to give me?" And he reaches into his pocket, and he pulls out the pocket beer and gives it to me. I'm just like, "There's no way." And let me tell you, for a pocket beer, that thing was ice cold,
Yeah.
ice cold.
Nothing but the best for the man who gets the picture framed, I guess.
Oh, and it was just like I'm so glad that I didn't get to see him on the way in, and I'm kind of glad that like it happened the way that it happened. 'Cause, I was pretty bummed out when going in, I couldn't get all of them, I couldn't get it to him. I was like, "Ah, this sucks." And then, yeah, being able to go inside and sort of have that moment was pretty unreal, and, it will kinda just, like, live in Abbotsford, infamy probably for years to come.
Yeah. I mean, I had the Sully from the Green Men on a couple of weeks ago. And it's the same kind of thing, right? Suddenly you look on your social media and everything's blowing up. What was that? Because I mean, people started noticing it because then they bring it up on stage. They put it out there for so
Yeah,
similar for the
I
Green
had
Men.
no idea, right?
Right?
I'm sitting, like, I don't know, 10 rows back, and I can barely see what's going on the stage, um, and I kinda saw it at his feet. I'm like, "Oh, that's sick," right? And I'm just like, I'm trying not to check Twitter, like, a million times, and I'm trying to enjoy the moment, but, like, I was just like, I was shaking. I was like, "This was amazing," and, like, I instantly got it out there, and I was just like, "I gotta get this out there because, like, something's gonna happen. Somebody's gonna like, they're gonna see the picture." But, yeah, it was cool to just kind of check Twitter after it, and I'm like, "Oh, I guess Canucks Nation, they noticed it." And, credit where credit's due. I wanted to be, credited with that. I gave him the picture, but, someone I think, there's a picture out there after the event, and someone gave him he got a shirt. There's a picture of him wearing a shirt with the picture on it um, after the event, which is just so cool.
That's so cool. That's so cool. So moving forward, Scott, you're clearly very knowledgeable on the Abby Canucks. We'd love to have you on the show moving forward for any other occasion that you'd be willing to, because we love to
Yeah,
keep track of our Abby
absolutely.
Canucks.
They're like a season ticket holder. We try to go to, I try to go to all the games. Sometimes work gets in the way, but yeah, no, I'd love to chat. We watch the guys pretty closely, and develop quite a liking for the guys on the team. So it's free agency is kind of a sad time, and we're saying goodbye to a lot of the guys, but there's going to be a new group of guys next year, and we're going to be there from day one. There's no jumping on the bandwagon in the middle of May.
So I'll get your take then, just quickly on some of the guys, because today they're bringing back an old Vancouver Canuck, Mr. Joe Labat. Or no,
Yeah, no, Joe Labat.
Yeah.
I think that's the name.
big boy, and he's
You know,
coming back.
we like that size.
Yeah,
We like that
6'5",
size. We like the veteran.
and apparently
Holy.
Vilmer Alriksson should be playing for Abby next year. If we can get Jujar Kara back, then we got a whole line of 6'5" and over.
That would be those would probably be like with Juge was probably the biggest guy that we've had ever. Aside from like Vincent Arsenault being a big dude, he wasn't a tall dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, we need the size. The A is rough. It's rough and tumble. It's it's not you don't get away with a lot of your skill too much. You can get ambushed and taken out, and you just need those guys to toughen everything up and protect those prospects and make sure they make it to the show.
Yeah, exactly. Well, awesome, Scott. Thank you very much for joining the show today. And like I said, we'll probably chat again soon then.
Awesome, man. Good to talk.
Nothing is perfect.